If everyone could find their seats now, please rise and remain standing for the March On of Colors.
Say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the
Word. Art.
Please be seated.
Good evening. I'm Wyatt Jesse, Superintendent of the Shelton School District, and I wanted to welcome you to our second ever Community Hall of Fame induction ceremony. Tonight we'll be gathering to commemorate, honor, and celebrate our heritage and those who will always be remembered for their outstanding accomplishments and contributions that have positively impacted our school district and the community. On behalf of the Shelton School District, I would like to thank and congratulate our 5 new inductees, some posthumously, their families and friends, as well as everyone who has joined us tonight in this celebratory event. Thank you so much for making Shelton special. Now I'll hand it over to Richard Lewis.
Thank you, Wyatt, for those welcoming words and for making us time for us today. I have to say, feeling a lot of climber pride right now. Where's my climbers out there? Thank you. You know there's a lot of VIPs in the house when we do not even have room on the stage for the school board president. So Carrie's out there somewhere, sorry. My name is Richard Lewis, and I've been a member of the Hall of Fame committee since its inception in 2019, and a teacher here on the faculty at Shelton High School for 26 years. And I'm also the leader of Shelton's high school's largest student organization, the National Honor Society. We gather as a community and extended school family to welcome our class of 2022 Hall of Fame. I feel so fortunate to have known almost all of our honorees tonight during my career. Doug Sells and Jamie were both my students, and I knew Coach Sells when he had hair. 3 years ago, I gave the Hall of Fame induction speech for Coach Greg, who guided Chris McGee to those 700 points in our state basketball championship. Connie Joe Nelson was a wonderful mentor to me back in the early 2000s and a steady hand for so many young teachers here. And though Don Ricardo and I worked in different parts of the district, I feel like I met him every day through the students he mentored and who walked in my classroom always ready to learn. I don't think I'm going to be going out on a limb to say that I'm sure all of you feel blessed by your connections to our new members. But this Hall of Fame committee has ambitions beyond just feeling good. We are also about doing. One valuable lesson I've learned in life is that action and verbs often take you farther than just feelings and adjectives. I learned this life lesson in a powerful way in college. Like our superintendent, I came to Mason County from Seattle, from the 206. And I attended Seattle University, a Catholic college founded right before Washington became a state, and a school whose mission is guided by the Jesuits and the 14th century educational pioneer Ignatius of Loyola. When I was 18, 19, I would walk around campus, and if you've ever been on the campus, there's pictures of Ignatius everywhere. Go to the cafeteria, to golf practice, to my fraternity, to classes. Everywhere is Ignatius. And he was never sitting still, studying or reading like you might expect in a school. He was always striding forward. Every single statue, I always like the statues like fall over. He's always walking. He's striding forward, purposely, one foot in front of the other. He famously said, "Live in this world a life of action, and never cease asking, what is my verb?" In the Spanish, he said, "¿Cuál es mi verbo? ¿Cuál es tu verbo?" And to this day, in my classroom next to my master's in teaching is a picture of Ignatius striding forward. So when I'm like, oh man, I'm not going to make it to the last 10 minutes of this class, I see Ignatius striding forward. And so like Ignatius, the first stride we take today the first verb we center on is the verb to honor. When we honor something, we lift it up. We elevate it and say, look at this. This afternoon, we honor and raise up, above all the static and distraction of our daily lives, Jamie, Doug, Connie, Don Ricardo, and Chris. We honor them for their vast contributions to our community, and I will leave it for our student speakers here in a moment to share more. But honoring isn't just raising something up. A is higher than B, B is higher than C. When we honor something, we keep an agreement. We keep a promise. In the world of finance, if you ever deposit a check in a bank, they say the bank honors the check. It respects and agrees with your deposit, so your employer lets you keep your money and cash your check. And then you can pay $7 for a gallon of gas at Costco. So today we honor the implicit agreement that exists between the Shelton School District and all of you. The agreement between us and you, the community we serve. We are here to serve you. Right here and now, we keep our promise that the Shelton School District excellence is our goal. We aren't handing out participation ribbons tonight. Our promise is that if you support us, if you support the Shelton School District, we will create leaders like our 5 honorees who define Shelton at its best. Our second stride forward, our second verb is to remember. Today, above all, we remember. This word to remember comes from 2 Latin cognates, re, meaning to do again, and membere, to join or to unite. When we remember, we join again. And so this original concept of remembering, as the Romans imagined it, wasn't just something trivial like, oh, I can't remember where I put my charger. Remembering is joining 2 things that have been separated. Remembering is when we create a new whole from the parts, when we create what ought to be. This act of remembrance is so important for large institutions because even the Shelton School District, with all our best of intentions, sometimes we lose our way. The center doesn't always hold. Here at Shelton, we always can get better and improve. So when time splinters, remembering unites it. And when you hear the students remembering our honorees, they become our pioneers, our guides to joining again with the big ideas that make Shelton what it is. There are moments in our lives, though, when remembering is just too hard. It's hard. And this act of joining again is too much to bear. In the midst of our celebration, our hearts still ache, thinking about the passing of Jamie and Ricardo. We cannot join again with them the way we really want to. We love them well, and we so wish that they were sitting here tonight with us. We wish that more than anything. I remember Labor Day weekend being out on Lake Cushman when my supervisor, Miss Allie, called to tell me the news about Jamie. And I don't really remember what Miss Allie said, but I remember the only words that I could utter were no. No. How many of you had that response too when you heard about Don Ricardo or Jamie? No. So I think our final verb tonight, our final stride forward, is the word to affirm. Tonight, to all those no's, we say yes. Right here, right now, we say yes. We say yes to all the no's of our heartbreak. We say yes to honoring the best among us, and we say yes to the renewal inherent in remembering. And so in the spirit of honoring and remembering and affirming, I hope you will please give a warm welcome to our first student speaker tonight.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this beautiful evening. My name is Rosalidia Pedro Vasquez, a sophomore at Shelton High School. It is my honor to be speaking for the nominees of Don Ricardo del Bosque. Ricardo del Bosque was husband to Deborah Olson del Bosque, father, grandpa, co-worker, friend, and most of all, someone to go to. Ricardo tested positive for COVID late July of 2020. The first few weeks were hard because his oxygen levels were not looking the best, so he had to be put on a ventilator. September 5th, surgeons put in a tube to help provide an air passage. September 25th, Don Ricardo suffered a stroke. And on October 7th, he was taken to Kindred Hospital to focus on rehab. Don Ricardo battled through COVID for 6 months and passed away on February 8th of 2021 at the age of 59. Ricardo immigrated to the U.S. from Saltillo, Mexico. In early 1990s, Ricardo first lived in Texas, but a year later moved to Washington. Ricardo worked in construction, building skyscrapers in downtown Seattle, and then worked in Green Hill School, and then the juvenile detention facility, where he got seriously injured. Because of his injury, he had to work somewhere with less strenuous work. He got a job in Shelton in 1990s as a paraeducator. Don Ricardo worked in a small office at Evergreen Elementary, where families were able to come and get information, such as busing riot, how to help their kids, food, and shelter. Don Ricardo said in an interview, "Something that inspires me to be myself. The first one is my family. Second one is the community." Don Ricardo loved the community that he also considered it home. Don Ricardo helped with everything. He never gave up until he found a solution. Goes beyond, says his co-worker, Wendy Linkels. Ricardo helped with immigration, CPS reports, shelter, clothes, food, and so much more. He spoke up for the ones who couldn't. Don Ricardo made sure there was at least one person who spoke Spanish in every school at the Shelton School District, so everyone would get the help they needed. Ricardo's goal was to help everyone succeed. He helped the young from elementary to high school. He helped students in high school to find jobs using their language or what they already know, because it would be hard for them to find a job when they just got to the U.S. and only have 1 to 2 years to graduate. Ricardo went to families' home to visit the kids and give them food. One of Ricardo's biggest events was Christmas, where he hosted families who didn't have much. They'd be able to come and eat and receive gifts. He did this so kids would have something. Ricardo did not only impact families, he impacted everyone around him. His coworker says he left a big gap that is impossible to fill. He brought the energy into the room. Maestra Bishop says he was the go-to. Whenever you needed something or if you felt like giving up, he would give the best advice and always found a solution. Ricardo never gave up. He always gave 100% effort on everything he did. He also never took credit. He always gave the credit to the team. He was a mentor to students and friends. He was a leader, someone to look up to. His coworkers say he deserves more than being in the Hall of Fame because he was the heart of this community and the voice for the Latino community. Don Ricardo del Bosque was more of an angel than a man.
At this time, we'd like to welcome a representative from the family of Ricardo del Bosque to come up to the stage, please. Thank you. At this time, we'd like to welcome Karen to the stage to honor our inductee, Jamie Dobson.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Shelton High School Hall of Fame ceremony. My name is Karen Rivas. I am the class of 2023 president and a member of National Honor Society. I have the honor of being chosen to speak on behalf of Jamie Woodward Dobson's loved ones and those who remember the extraordinary type of person she was. Jamie was born in 1981 to her parents, James and Leanne Woodward. Jamie would later pass away in a tragic accident September 2nd, 2019. Jamie moved to Washington State, where she attended and graduated from Shelton High School. During high school, she met David Dobson during her NJRO CT classes. She went on to date him and later on married David, making them high school sweethearts. Jamie graduated from high school and attended Olympic College and obtained her AA degree. Jamie started working at Shelton High in 2004. She later became the Counseling Center Secretary soon after. Students and those who remember working with Jamie will recall her being there ready to help. Jamie always put others before herself, and everyone who knew her knows this. One of Jamie's good qualities was being able to know what you needed before you told her. She was always ready to help. Students, staff, and district staff knew that if you needed help with anything, Jamie was there to help. She welcomed everyone and accepted everyone, no matter what. This is also what made her such a wonderful, calming influence to those around. She knew how to help and made your issues come before hers. She soon became the Shelton Education Office Professionals President. Jamie advocated for a better workplace and helped come up with new ideas and improvements for the workplace and her peers. She was a devoted role model for many of those who knew her and her children. She was an inspiration to everyone. Jamie was the type of person who would look at the smallest detail so she could make sure that nothing could go wrong in the future. Jamie will always be remembered for how big her heart was. As days have gone by, no one forgets her presence in our school, as Jamie helped with ideas for our new Shelton High School A building. Not only that, but those who had the pleasure of meeting her will always think of her beautiful memory. And if an issue were to ever come up, we will always ask ourselves, what would Jamie do? Jamie would have helped with grace and ease, with no hesitation, as she would always. Thank you.
At this time, we would like to welcome a family member of Jamie Dobson's to come up, please. All right, thank you. At this time, we'd like to welcome Richard Beckman to speak to us today about honoree Chris McGee.
Good evening, Shelton. My name is Richard Beckman, and I am a sophomore at Shelton High School. We're here today to commemorate those who are memorable and those who are exceptional, and Chris McGee is certainly someone who is both. Chris McGee was an extraordinary athlete at Shelton High School who played in the boys basketball team from 1976 to 1978. He was incredibly passionate about basketball, and it showed in every aspect of his performance. In his sophomore year, Chris helped bring the team to a 6th place victory in the state basketball championship. In his next year, his junior year, the boys basketball team also won the state championship, and Chris was selected for all-league and all-state honors. In his final year, his senior year, the boys team finished 2nd in the state basketball tournament, and Chris was selected for all-league and state honors. In his 3-year basketball career, he scored 716 career points, which is the highest of all time in Shelton, and that is an astounding number. This record stands pretty cool. This record stands even today, over 40 years later. That's crazy. After high school, Chris McGee he went to St. Martin's, and he got inducted into the St. Martin's Hall of Fame, and he's currently retired and living with his wife, Jane Live. He's showed what it means to be a true climber athlete, and we want to honor his basketball legacy with a spot in the Shelton Hall of Fame.
All right, we'd like to welcome up Chris McGee.
That's for short people. I didn't think I was going to talk, but there's a couple things I do want to say. I'm very fortunate. My family's really cool. They're a really good job, really good athletes too, so it works out pretty well. I'm kind of not disappointed, but Terry Gregg's not here, so that kind of bothers me. But there's a couple things I want to say. Thank you very much. It's all really cool. I can't believe that you were throwing Latin out, because actually I was going to throw Latin out too. Yeah, that was it right there. And all I could think of was like the Latin term, because I went to St. Martin's right there, so I got some Latin right there. It's like I had really great teammates. Okay, that's the reason I'm basically here. Good player, but actually we had tremendous success for a long time, all right? And so that's kind of why I'm here. And I really thank everybody. It's really cool. Appreciate it.
All right, thank you. Back to the short people. All right. At this time, we'd like to welcome speaker Ian to the stage to honor our inductee, Connie Jo Nelson.
Students and staff, it is an honor to induct a teacher into the Hall of Fame here with you this evening. As most of us have realized somewhere along the way, a teacher is so much more than their subject. They can make or break a class, an experience, or a year. Connie Nelson certainly understood this, and throughout her life she used this to her advantage to help everyone in the student body of any place she worked. Here is the story of one of her lucky students. They were being cast from school to school. As a student, it wasn't something they could control, and it was outcasting them. They were losing friends to other elements, such as them passing or them also moving, and it was beginning to affect their grade. And they didn't think that any of their teachers seemed to notice. They were just slipping through class and class, not making it out of most of them. But then Miss Nelson came along, and she lit a fire for them. She enforced the motto that as long as you are a student of Shelton High School, you will not fall to the wayside. You will succeed, no matter how hard you must try. That student is now a proud graduate of Shelton High School. And as for Miss Nelson herself, this district was not the only one that she has done immense work for. She spent many years in other consultative positions, helping out those schools. Now she enjoys gardening, spending time with her daughter, and she will soon be celebrating a 46th anniversary. Thank you, Miss Nelson, for what you've done for not just Shelton School District, but districts everywhere.
we welcome to the stage Connie Jo Nelson.
First of all, congratulations to the other inductees, families of Jamie and Ricardo, to Chris and to Doug. Congratulations to you. I have some thank yous. I want to thank, well, I can do this. I wore my waterproof mascara. I want to thank my immediate family, Rick, my husband, and Stacy and Tim Parker. I have my sister-in-law, Karen, and Jenny, who came from, well, Ellensburg today, and my nephew, Nelson. And I have other family and friends, but as I came in today, I got the biggest hugs and felt the love from so many former students and parents, and it just fills my heart. So thank you so much for coming and sharing this with me. I started teaching pretty much at 19 years old. 5 years of that was teaching swimming lessons in our local swimming pool over in Eastern Washington. So I've been at it for quite a while. I graduated from Eastern in 1973 and then worked in Spokane for a year and decided this isn't what I want to do. I want to go back to teaching. So I graduated in 1973 with a vocational certificate from Central. My first year of teaching was in a little town called Anatone in Eastern Washington, 65 students in the whole school. And I am still very, very close to some of those students. From 75 until 84, I was a teacher of home ec. I did some math and taught PE. Having a K-12 provisional certificate, you could teach anything. 5 of those years, I organized and escorted students to Hawaii through an educational field studies. From 1984 until 1992, I was so blessed to be home with our daughter, Stacy, and I coached the Shelton Sharks swim team for a couple of those years. In 1992 to 2007, I received my CTE Applied Math certification and came up here to the high school. I also taught some home ec CTE courses as well. I retired in 2006, but in 2006 and 7, I did a retire-rehire. I wasn't through teaching yet, I guess, or lending my advice, because from 2007 until 2017, I worked as a consultant for 7 other school districts in their applied math program. And that was just really an honor for me, and I'm still very, very close to many of those teachers. I look back on my teaching career, and I took the word teacher and put my taste to it on as an acronym. The T in teachers stands for trust. Teachers need to know who you are and what you are teaching in their class. They need to trust you with that. The E is a big one, and that's the example that you set and the expectations that you set. Be this example you desire your students to be. Set your expectations high. Your students can do it. The A in teacher stands for attitude. Have a positive attitude. I've learned that my glass is always half full. Be the smile they see every day. You might be the only one they see that day. Don't make a bad day. Don't make a bad day for you turn into a bad day for them also. C is the connection, and that to me is huge. Reach out, show your love by having a firm, fair, and consistent classroom. Students really do like the structure. And to this day, I love the connection that I still have with many of my former students. It warms my heart. The H stands for heart. Have a huge heart in teaching. E, enjoy your career. Appreciate the ability that you have to touch the heart and the soul of your students. You can truly make a difference in their life and the future and their future, and also you reap so much from them. R is relationships. It warms my heart when former students I see even have a connection with on Facebook want to know how I'm doing. Life is too short not to build those long-lasting relationships. In closing, when a flashlight grows dim or quits working, you don't throw it away. You change the batteries. When a person messes up and finds themselves in a dark place, do you cast them aside? No, of course not. You help them change their batteries. Some need an AA, which is attention and affection. Some need a AAA, attention, affection, and acceptance. Some need a C, which is compassion, and some need a D for direction. And if you still and if they still don't seem to shine, simply sit with them quietly and share your light. Thank you so much.
Perfect interview speech. I think they're looking at hiring her back if you want to come back out of retirement. Thank you so much, Connie. All right, our last speaker tonight will be sharing some information for our last inductee, who is Doug Sells. So Ashley, will you come up and share your speech?
Thank you all for being here tonight to honor our Hall of Fame inductees. My name is Ashley Raleigh, and I am a sophomore here at SHS. And it's an honor to be up here to speak on behalf of those who nominated Doug Sells. Coach Sells has made great everlasting impacts on the students he has coached and still coaches, the staff he has and still works with, and his community. Mr. Sells was my advisor and teacher in my 8th grade year, and to say the least, he made that year bearable. During my first year at a brand new school where I knew no one, he helped me with any questions I had, was somebody I could go to for advice, and just an overall great person to talk to and listen. I am not the only student he has made an impact on. I mean, he is here for the Hall of Fame. Coach Sells has helped students he has coached grow, not only in track ability, but as a person, and he makes lifelong impacts on anyone he meets. In his 4 years here as a student, he excelled in track, which he has now been a coach at Shelton High School for 18 years, which is the longest running head coach in school history. In 1999, when he graduated, he held 7 school records and 22 class records, and some of them he still holds to this day. He was a state champion in shot put for 2 years in a row, with 2 second-place finishes and 3 third-place finishes. He then went on to do track at Oregon University and excelled there as well. Because Coach Sells is the most decorated track and field athlete in Shelton High School history, you could say he is a pretty big deal. He has put his own time and money to help make the track program better, which includes building the award stand that is used now. Beyond his coaching, he is a teacher at
in engineering at Oakland Bay Junior High. His wife, Sarah Sells, is also a teacher here at Shelton, and they are proud parents of 2 kids, Oliver and Evelyn. It is an honor to speak about a man who has helped his community so much and generously given back to them.
All right, let's welcome to the stage Doug Sells.
I can only suck in my gut for so long, so this is going to be short. That was a little overwhelming, so thank you very much. It's truly an honor to be here. I did not expect to be up here. I was very surprised when Senior Lewis called me, and just so flattered and so honored. Then they wanted some photos, and that makes you start to think about your past, and you start to reflect a little bit, and you realize with your younger self, you think you're doing it all on your own, you know? You're just kind of this track star. Then you really think that you were nothing without your support system, without the people who surrounded you, parents, coaches, friends, family, all things like that. So I want to thank them. I want to thank my mom, Becky, my dad, John, who's been my biggest supporter. So thank you very much on that, and thank you. I'm overwhelmed, so thank you very much.
Let's give a round of applause to our 5 inductees and show them our appreciation. I'd also like to ask you to give a round of applause to our 5 student speakers. As many of you are probably aware, public speaking is the #1 fear of most people in this world. And 5 of our brightest got up here and I think knocked it out of the park. So I'm so proud of you guys. But I think the biggest thing they're going to gain from this is the purpose of having this Hall of Fame in my mind is to carry on the legacy and to really cement in the community the things that have happened here at Shelton High School. I'm a newcomer to this community, but I can tell, having been here just a little over a year, how important this school is, how important this school district is to this community. It's the hub of the community, this school district. And to produce the type of people that were up on stage today, just as a testament to the community as a whole. So thank you for your support. I'm a little overwhelmed right now, as you can tell, for being welcomed into this community. But I am so proud to be the principal here, and I want to thank you for all your support. I'm sitting up here listening to the inductees, and I'm thinking about, we live in this great big world, but it's really not that big. Connie, I need to share with you, I grew up in Clarkston, Washington, 30 miles from Anatone, Washington. My parents had a cabin 10 miles west of Anatone, and my fondest memories are with my dad, who's passed away, traveling by snowmobile into Anatone to watch the basketball games. And Chris, you will appreciate this. To take the ball out of bounds, the player had to put his foot on the wall before he threw the ball in bounds because there was no end line. The end line was the wall of the gym. So you would appreciate that, I'm sure, as being a former basketball player. But I want to thank everybody for coming out. I want to invite everybody to come to the A building. There are refreshments available, mingle, meet the inductees and share their stories. And I can guarantee you that our 5 speakers will be sharing the stories that they just shared with you to many people. So thank you very much for your time, and I wish you a good night.